Atlas. Begin transmission.
Transmission commencing.
Hello, this is Pecktec reporting for the Steampunk Chronicle. I'm here with Madeline Foxtrot and Ashley Rodgers. So, tell me, I've been told that you are the definitive expert on steampunk. What defines it for you?
Well, steampunk is very, very easily defined. I think a lot of people get lost in their own heads when they start thinking about steampunk. Steampunk is simply do what Madeline Foxtrot does. Madeline, don't you think you're being a bit egomaniacal? No, it's a lot more
I'm
open
listening,
than that.
but unfortunately, no, you're wrong.
See, a lot of people do believe that steampunk is a very big open space that they can play, but in fact, they're wrong. Look, Madeline, the point of steampunk is it's a very open thing. All right, it's not so open that anyone, like Austin Sarkin will always say, a Burger King employee is obviously not steampunk. But at the same time, if you just say it's what you do, that limits a lot of what other people do. It limits that creativity. It stops them from being able to do things. I agree, we need to have some sort of kind of definition, but it should be a very loose definition about something that's pseudo-Victorian, or at the very least the birth of industry. That's really where steampunk starts, is that birth of industrialization and everything that goes with it. The politics, the social ramifications, just everything about how industry is created. That is steampunk.
And how did the Madeline Foxtrot, or tea with Madeline Foxtrot, come to be? How did that come to fruition?
Well, you see, monthly tea with Madeline Foxtrot came almost like a dream. I was approached by a nameless, faceless organization. No, Madeline. I approached you, and Dogtune Media was the organization. It's not nameless or faceless. It's in the credits of your show. Okay, I was approached by a nameless, faceless Ashley Rodgers. And she said, Madeline, I love what you do. I think the world needs to see your material. I created it because I wanted to show a really horrible, horrible human being as if they were a steampunk. Oh, well, that doesn't sound right at all. That sounds like you were insulting me. So, I started working with Dogtune when I was working with the two previous steampunk troops that I had been working with. The creator of Dogtune Media, Doug Cowell, he played the professor in the group that I was with. And so we had tried to put out a couple of videos as our steampunk troupe to mixed results, but a lot of it was very much just, it's hard to get a whole bunch of people together. And that's the truth of it. It's so hard to get so many people with large egos in one project. And so I always liked Doug, I always liked what he was doing. So I approached him as we were sort of disbanding the last steampunk group, if I could do, specifically Ashley Rodgers Does Something Awesome, the show that I do solo. And he was just like, shoot something, send it to me, and I will probably accept it. But then when it came to monthly tea, I had actually put out a couple just under my own name, about 3 or 4 under my own YouTube account, because I was going to give it to another group that really wanted to start a steampunk station. And I thought it was a really cool idea, so I started making Madeline Foxtrot, but I was so into it and they hadn't had things up yet, so I was like, okay. Unfortunately, the project that I had initially made them for did not happen, or it's still working on it. So I just approached Doug and I said, all right, monthly tea, you want it? He was like, yeah, I do. Well, that's fine. I'd rather just use it the way that I think about it. My memories are mine, after all. The point is, me getting to start this show has been such a release, because I feel like I have so many thoughts and ideas, and even though steampunk started as a literary genre, it's so different, so vastly different now. It's all visual and YouTubes, and what with the twits and the tweets, and I'm tumbling now, which is actually not a metaphor for drugs.
Oh.
I was very confused when everyone was telling me, "Oh, are you tumbling, Madeline? Are you tumbling?" No, I am very, very sober.
So, some people have called your show a parody. What do you have to say about that?
I would say that they're idiots. Now, if anything, recently, Dogtoon Media, which is the parent company that creates the show, labeled it as a satire. And at first I was very angry about this because I Googled what a satire is, and that's not what I'm doing at all. I believe every single word that I say. But the fact of the matter is, satire, if they're going to call my show a satire, it must be like the word literally. The word literally does not mean what it used to. Therefore, my show must be a satire. Literally yes, actually, speaking. Monthly Tea is 100% a satire. And we got into a little, not trouble online, but there were definitely a number of people on YouTube who were basically saying like, "Oh my gosh, this is great, I hope it's a satire." I was just like, yes, it is. And I thought particularly in the beginning that I was being very clear, but it's one of those things that it's very hard to gauge, even in a video, even when you can see my tones. So we've had to work very hard to find the way to constantly say, "This is satire." I swear I don't believe any of the things that Madeline is saying.
So, how did you come up with the Madeline character?
I actually, and it's one of those things that's not super well known, but I actually came up with the Madeline character because there was a time that I was very mad at steampunk, and I just sort of said, I'm done with this genre, I don't care, I've made a lot of good friends, but I'm just done. And it started kind of coming to me at that point that I can't just leave. It's not something that it's something that I've loved, it's something that I've given a lot of time to. So why would I just leave it? And then Madeline came up because I started watching a lot more of the Colbert Report and talking to a number of people who have been throwing the word satire around. And I don't want to sound egomaniacal, but at the same time, it's just like when you throw the word satire around and you're not doing it right, that's a problem. And I've not seen a good steampunk satire, at least in the live performance scene, I guess. So I really just wanted to make sure that I did it right, and there are definitely times that I stumble, but when people give me notes about it, I listen to it and I try and improve it. I don't just say, "No, I'm doing satire, so you have to believe what I'm saying is true. Ha ha ha, I'm doing satire." It's just like, no, because when you do satire, you have to be open to what people are saying, and if they are saying they are worried about the material that you are putting out, your response has to be, okay, let me look inward on that. Why is it coming out this way? As opposed to as an outward attack on your artistic credibility.
I've seen another show that you do called Ashley Does Something Awesome, and I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, actually I do. So when I first started working with Dogtoon Media, we had started talking about me doing sort of like a sketch show where I'd try and find a couple of people, and I was really inspired by shows like Mr. Show and a couple of other of those really big sketch shows, but I just really wanted to do that. And especially with YouTube being such a open space that anyone can put things on, I said, even if I don't go viral, I just want to be able to do this and have this material in my pocket. So we started doing the first season, which was only about 5 or 6 episodes long, and they were just a couple of ideas that I'd had that I thought would be really funny. Like I read the dictionary and I just start going insane. Like doing things that are just not awesome at all. And then with this most recent season, I've actually been able to bring a couple of people in, like Erica Unwoman. She was staying with us for a little bit, so I was just like, hey, you're this like really big good cellist that people love in the steampunk community. Can you just play the spoons? She was like, I can do that. And so we got an entire episode of just Erica playing the spoons. So it's really just whatever I think is funny at the time, and have the ability to figure out a way to film. I just do it.
Can you tell me what's next and what's in the future for Monthly Tea?
Well, what's really nice is we've just struck a deal with nerdcaliber.com, who is a company that I know, Ashley, you can go on a little bit more if you'd like, but essentially Ashley works with them to interview people at conventions. And so they have given me use of a camera as well as a number of other items, so we're going to be broadcasting little bits for them. So you're going to get the longer, probably closer to 20 and 30-minute episodes on Dogtoon, and little Madeline Foxtrot digestibles, which are going to be about 2 to 3 minutes. So if you have the steampunk attention span, you'll be able to watch the 30-minute. But if you have the, let's just say, anime kid attention span, you'll be able to watch the 2-minute.
Okay. This has been Sean Peck with Steampunk Chronicle. Thanks for watching.